Good stage pressure.
Yeah. All good?
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so welcome everyone to the Varsity Division History of STEM, the final. It's 30 questions, out on 30 points. Best of luck. No limits to number of buzzers. Question 1. Many errors by this man were only corrected in 1543 with the publishing of Andreas Vesalius's De Humani Corporis Fabrica Libri Septem. This man made many medical advancements through his dissection of Barbary macaques, and he authored On the Natural Faculties. This man, who hailed from Pergamon, that is buzzer 2, that's Jack. Galen is correct for 5 to Jack. Question 2. These installations required regular maintenance to prevent salinization and were stabilized by planting aquete trees along the edges. Developed in the lacustrine environment of a continental basin, this system was critical to the food supply of a polity centered on an island in Lake Texcoco. This system reached its greatest extent under the Triple Alliance, helping to feed the dense population of Tenochtitlan. That is buzzer 2, that's Jack.
The Chinampas.
The Chinampas is correct. That's for 4 points, just over the border into 4 points. So, for Jack, question 3. Originating in the work of Johann Joachim Becher and later refined by George Ernst Stahl, this theory held that metals lost a substance when heated to form calxes. Joseph Priestley remained a supporter at that is buzzer 2, that's Jack.
Phlogiston theory?
Is correct for 6 points. 6 to Jack. Question 4. In 1974, Richard Feynman cited this experiment as an example of how scientists fool themselves. This experiment failed to account for the viscosity of air when using Stokes' law to calculate drag. In this experiment, an atomizer was used to spray small liquid particles into an electrode. That is buzzer 2, that's Jack.
The milk and oil drop experiment?
Is correct, and that's for 5 points. 5 to Jack. Question 5. This man expounded his methods in The New Horse-Howing Husbandry, which emphasized empirical observation and systematic cultivation. This man's most famous invention, first trialled near his estate at Prosperous Farm in Berkshire, allowed for precise, row-based sowing of grain, increasing yield and reducing seed loss. For the points, name this British inventor of the mechanical seed drill, who, that is buzzer 1, that's Himanshu. Must answer. Tull is correct for 4 points. 4 to Himanshu, Jethro Tull. Question 6. These materials were first developed as a safer alternative to chloromethane, and Thomas Midgley, that is buzzer 2, that's Isaac.
CFCs?
Is correct for 6 points. 6 to Isaac. Question 7. This system's Network Information Center was operated by Elizabeth Feindler, who wrote this system's first resource handbook. The first 2 characters transmitted over this system were the letters, that is buzzer 2, Isaac.
The American Telegraph System?
Is incorrect, so it's -2 to Isaac. Were the letters L and O after it crashed while student Charlie Klein typed the command login. That is buzzer 3, that's John. It's incorrect, so -2 to John. The first 4 nodes of this system were UCLA, Stanford, that is buzzer 4, that's Rajiv. ARPANET is correct, that's 5 to Rajiv. Question 8. This man proposed aposematism, explaining how bright coloration in animals serves as a deterrent to predators. Later in life, this man advocated for land nationalization and critiqued social inequality, and he was a vocal supporter of spiritualism and psychic phenomena, diverging from mainstream science. This man sent his essay on natural selection to that is buzzer 2, that's Jack.
No.
That's -2 to Jack. That's buzzer 1, that's Himanshu.
Wallace?
Wallace is correct. Alfred Russel Wallace. That's 5 to Himanshu. Question 9. A form of this experiment was proposed by Albert Einstein in the first of his debates with Niels Bohr at the 5th Solvay Conference. This experiment disproved Isaac Newton's corpuscular theory of optics. That's buzzer 3, that's John. Is correct. That's 6 to John. And question 10. This scientist was found dead in his Berkeley lab while working with hydrogen cyanide, which may have been suicide due to the fact he never won a Nobel Prize, despite being nominated 41 times. That's buzzer 3. Lewis is correct for 6 points to John. 6. So a score check after 10.
All right, Ethan, you have 0. Isaac, you have 4. John, you have 10. Rajiv, you have 5. Himanshu, you have 9. Jack, you have 18. And Maya, you have 0.
Okay. Everyone happy with scores? On to question 11. The namesake of this process stole Robert Mouchet's ideas to introduce an alloy called spiegelleichen into its products. That is buzzer 2, that's Isaac.
Bessemer?
Is correct.
Very good.
6 to Isaac. Question 12. This man calculated a number which is the lower bound of the game tree complexity of a single chess game. With Edward O. Thorpe, this man developed the first wearable computer for use in roulette games, and he was also the first person to introduce the term bit to describe a unit of information. This man worked with Warren Weaver to author a paper called A Mathematical Theory of Communication. A family of large language models developed by Anthropic is named after, for the points, what? American, that is buzzer 1, that's Ethan.
Claude.
Prompt is incorrect and minus 2. What American pioneer of artificial intelligence? That's buzzer 1. Manchu? Must answer.
I'm so sorry.
That's out of time. It's minus 1 after the question to Himanshu. That's fine. You've got the first name. It's Claude Shannon.
Yeah.
Question 13. This probe contains an ultraviolet imaging spectrometer called ALICE, which was used to confirm the existence of a hydrogen wall. This probe, which visited, that is buzzer 3, John, is incorrect for minus 2 to John, which visited 486958 Arrokoth, or Ultima Thule, is the only one which was not part of the Pioneer or Voyager missions to have escaped the velocity needed to leave the solar system. This probe conducted the first flyby of Kuiper Belt, that is buzzer 2, Jack.
New Horizon.
New Horizon was correct. That's 4 points to Jack. Question 14. A set of papers written by this scientist inspired James Clerk Maxwell to sculpt a clay model of energy, volume, and entropy. This recipient of the first PhD in engineering awarded in the US later wrote a landmark paper called On the Equilibrium of Heterogeneous Substances, which introduced his phase rule. This man coined the term statistical mechanics and also introduced a quantity whose change is negative for spontaneous reactions. That is buzzer 2, Jack.
Gibbs.
Gibbs is correct. Gibbs free energy.
How many points?
That was 4 points. Apologies. 4 to Jack. Question 15. This device was invented by Carl Ferdinand Braun and used as a display for electrical waveforms in the first oscilloscope. That's buzzer 2, Isaac.
X-ray?
Is incorrect. Minus 2 to Isaac. Wilhelm Röntgen discovered X-rays by passing charge through an early form of these devices called the Crookes tube. Observing the deflection of particles in these devices led J.J. Thomson, that is buzzer 3, John. Cathode ray tubes is correct. That's 5 points to John. Okay. Question 16. Geoffrey Chaucer's treatise on this instrument is considered the oldest work in English written upon an elaborate scientific instrument. This instrument was the focus of a 365-page book by Abd al-Rahman al-Sufi, who said that it can determine the direction of the Qibla. That is Maya.
Like a compass?
Is incorrect for minus 2 to Maya. That's John. An astrolabe is correct, so that's 5 to John.
Can we get a switch it?
Of course.
Ethan, -2. Isaac, 8. John, 18. Rajiv, 5. Himanshu, 8. Jack, 26. Maya, -2.
All good?
Yes.
Question 17. The first public demonstration of this device was performed by Marlin Westcott and Ruth Lichterman. Kathleen Antonelli, Jean Bartik, Betty Holbertson, and Frances Spence were the other 6 female programmers of this device, and performed calculations using a mechanical desktop calculator. This device was built to develop firing tables and improve the accuracy of US. That's buzzer 4. That's Rajiv.
ENIAC?
Is incorrect for minus 2. That's Isaac. Buzzer 2.
ENIAC?
ENIAC.
Oh,
Bad luck, Rajiv. That is 5 to Isaac. Question 18. This man's logic texts replaced Porphyry's isagogy in many Islamic curricula. Centuries before germ theory was developed, this man recognized the role of contaminated water in disease transmission. That's number 1, Himanshu.
Snell?
Is incorrect for minus 2. That's buzzer 1. Ethan?
Even Cena?
Even Cena or Avicenna is correct for 6 points. 6 to Ethan. This person was leased a former British Royal Navy minesweeper by Thomas Lowell Guinness for only £1 a year. This person used that vessel to shoot that is buzzer 3, John. Is correct for 6 points. And question 20. A class of these compounds discovered by Charles Pedersen of DuPont are named for their crown-like shape. Well, that's buzzer 4, Rajiv. Ethers is correct for 6 to Rajiv. So a score check after 20.
6 to Rajiv. Okay. Ethan, you're at 4. Isaac, you're at 13. John, you're at 24. Rajiv, you're at 9. Himanshu, you're at 6. Jack, you're at 26. And you're at -2.
So reminder, it's out on 30. So a couple of players. There are 30 questions out on 30 points. So a couple of players, 1 question away, potentially. Question 21. A law named in contrast to this law notes the increasing price of drug discovery over time. Arthur Rock has proposed a follow-up to this law, which notes the increasing cost of associated fabrication plants. Advancements such as dynamic random access memory have ensured the continued, that is buzzer 4, Rajiv,
Moore's Law.
is correct for 5 points, 5 to Rajiv. Question 22. A formula named for this man was called the most remarkable formula in mathematics by Richard Feynman. This man found that the sums of the reciprocals of the square numbers converge to pi squared, that is buzzer 2, Isaac.
Ramanujan?
Is incorrect for -2 to Isaac. That's buzzer 4, Rajiv. Euler is correct, 6 points to Rajiv. Question 23. This concept was observed by Jean-Jacques Dortu de Maran after he noted the movement of the leaves of the Mimosa pudica plant, even in, that is buzzer 2, Isaac.
Brownian motion?
Is incorrect for -2 to Isaac. Even in the dark. Colin Pittendry observed this concept in Drosophila melanogaster, or fruit flies, when it was discovered they had so-called clock genes, period and timeless. The name of this concept derives from the Latin phrase circa diem, which translates to about, that's buzzer 2, Jack.
Immortal?
Is incorrect for -2. To about a day. For the points, name this process. The bodies, that's buzzer 1, Himanshu.
Circadian rhythm.
Is correct. That's 4 points to Himanshu.
Yeah.
Thank you. Question 24. The drug Humira was the first of these proteins, that is buzzer 2, Isaac. Must answer.
Crohn's disease.
Is incorrect on -2. The first of these proteins to be FDA approved for treatment of rheumatoid arthritis and was optimized using phage display. That's buzzer 3, John. Is incorrect for -2. A combo therapy of 2 of these proteins targeting the spike protein was used to treat that's buzzer 4, Rajiv.
What? mRNA?
Is incorrect for -2. To treat Donald Trump after he contracted COVID-19 in 2020. The 1984 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to the developers of the hybridoma technology used to produce monoclonal examples of these proteins. For the points, name these Y-shaped, that's buzzer 2, Jack.
Antibodies?
Is correct, 4 to Jack.
Hmm.
Question 25. One of these devices was hung from a string to try to detect the lumiferous ether, that is buzzer 2, Jack.
Pendulum?
Is incorrect, so -2. In the Troughton Noble experiment, these devices, found in microphones, were historically called condensers. Peter von Muschenbroek invented an early form of this device consisting of tin foil coating the inner and outer surfaces of a glass jar, which was called the Leyden jar. That's buzzer 3, Maya. Is incorrect for -2. The SI unit for a quantity stored by these devices was, that's buzzer 3, capacitors is correct, for 5 points to John.
Can we get a score check?
Of course, with 5 questions left.
Right. All right, with 5 questions left. Ethan, you have 4. Isaac, you have 7. John, you have 27. Rajiv, you have 18. Himanshu, you have 10. Jack, you have 26. Maya, you have -4.
So very close at the top. 5 questions left. Good luck. Question 26. The existence of this molecule was suggested by Jacques Monod and François Jacob, who tracked its production from the lac operon in the Pajamar experiments. For finding that pseudo-uridine modifications of this molecule lowered its immunogenicity, Drew Weissman and Katalin Kariko shared the 2023 Nobel Prize in Medicine. This molecule was packaged in lipid nanoparticles in a formulation co-created by that is mRNA is correct. That's 5 points to John, and that will see, I believe, our champion. So 4 questions left to play on for places. Question 27. This person noted the starbursts pattern of fallen trees at the blast zones at Ground Zero in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This person theorized that the cause of the Eastern Airlines Flight 66 crash in 1975 was linked to microbursts. In 1953, Horace Byers invited this person to join University of Chicago, leading to this person's involvement in the Thunderstorm Project. For the points, name this Japanese-born meteorologist who developed a namesake scale that measures, that's buzzer 1, Ethan.
Fujita?
Is correct. That's 4 points to Ethan. Question 28. The cable theory of these cells is derived from Lord Kelvin's work on undersea telegraph lines. A black silver, that is buzzer 2, Isaac.
Neurons?
Is correct for 6 points. 6 to Isaac. Question 29. Maurienne Morgan is often nicknamed the father of this product, whose design was also influenced by Pierre Sartre. Usage of these items typically resulted in stopovers in Barbados or Dakar, while this item's sole competitor was the Tupolev T, and that's buzzer 4, Rajiv.
The Concorde.
Concorde is correct, still for 6 points. 6 to Rajiv. Yeah, we'll have a score check before the final question.
All
6 to
right.
Rajiv.
Ethan, you have 8. Ezek, you have 13. John, you've buzzed out. Rajiv, you have 24. Himanshu, you have 10. Jack, you have 26. Maya, you have negative.
So Jack with the lead by 2 points in the second place. Question 30. It's not Aristotle, but this person studied a cuckoo's tendency of broad parasitism after observing that the bird's hatchlings ejected young birds from the nest of sparrows. This person was consulted by a woman named Sarah Helms, who was infected by a specimen named Blossom. That's Rajiv. Jenner is correct. Right. So that sees Rajiv in second place, and that will see Jack take third place. And our final scores are.
Ethan, you have 8. Isaac, you have 13. John, you have placed first. Rajiv, you placed second. Himanshu, you have 10. Jack, you have 26, and you placed third. And Maya, you have 94. So the final placements, we don't have any ties, which means we can have Isaac fourth, Himanshu Ethan 6, means 7.
Okay, well done, everyone. Thank you so much for playing. Hope you enjoyed. Multiple deaths.
Hi. Back. Chicken.
Jack, 24. Everyone's
Hey, Jack.
I mean, a great final, but tough one. Rajiv, well done.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you.
I believe so. It's there actually is a